thou that sleepest, and God shall give you rest. Awake, awake, God says to us, awake. Understand the price of sin and the love within this man of faith, the Son of God, to lay down his majesty and offer himself for those who despised him, persecuted him, that we might win and inherit the kingdom of heaven. This prince, this word of God made flesh, laid down his robe and allowed men and devils to revile him and persecute him and say all manner of evil against him falsely for our sake. My God, this is not the act of an emotional man who's driven by what we call love, but this is the act of the Father who is love. The Father is of such righteousness that he cannot behold iniquity and pardon it. John 16 says, when God comes, when the Lord comes, he shall convict the world of sin. Recognize that our sin, the sin of mankind that besets us, is not a sin against our brother or sister, husband or wife, but a sin against God himself and God alone. Against God and God alone have we sinned, and do we continue so until the moment we receive the full price of the cross. It was the passion of the cross, the horrible sacrifice of the God-man made flesh, that is the demonstration of the horror that besets this world, of the horror that besets us, and but for the veil of grace, we could not behold it and stand. Are you sent to be a partaker into the inheritance of the saints of light? Is this true for you? If this be so, have you discovered the image of God, even the true image of righteousness and holiness? Have you recovered the true image of righteousness and holiness? Are we ready today to stand before a holy God and proclaim we have finished the work of putting on the whole of the Son of God by way of the cross? Think on this. Wisdom calls out and says, know the fear of God. It is here that we begin. Know the love of God, of the one that no one can measure. He is of no beginning and no end. He is, was, and shall be. In him, by the cross only, we have forgiveness of sin. By the cross only. Do not miss this point. God is not soft and emotional. Do not forget, he destroyed all of the earth except Noah and his family. He cast man from the garden. He cast down 1/3 of heaven. He has destined angels to eternal damnation. It is this God that sent his only Son to redeem mankind. To ignore this fact, to ignore the whole of God, to ignore the identity of God in fullness of who he is, misses the agony, the point of the agony of Calvary, the point of the cross, the nature of man's sins, and ultimately the truth of the impossibility of forgiveness. In human terms, God's forgiveness is nothing less than supernatural. Know this, if you fail to forgive others, it is a demonstration of the lack of the efficacy of your understanding of the price paid to forgive. Do not trample on the Word made flesh. Do not trample underfoot the God of the universe's gift of the cross. By holding up a standard he has already set down. Forgiveness is not an option. Choose forgiveness. or be certain of your destination, which was never meant for you. The good news today is you are hearing this word. And today, when you hear his voice, harden not your heart, but bow down and accept the greatest of the gift of forgiveness for all sin, and the opportunity to one day reign with God as partakers of inheritance of righteousness, for which God's Son Christ is the first fruit. Welcome, my friend, as we continue along the road less traveled to glory.